As a father of a 4-year-old and an 18-month-old, I am constantly told no for anything that I would like my kids to do. While I'm trying to figure out how to get those no's turned into yeses, I do have a few tricks up my sleeve to help you turn a no into a yes while having a conversation with your client. I'm assuming that while you're receiving this no, you've at least had a 30-minute conversation with your client. You've probably even coached them a little bit. You may have shown and demonstrated somehow how your capabilities are going to help them live a better life or have a better career, have a better business, have a better health. And so this no is happening at the end of that conversation, which in a way is a great thing because this person has invested 30 minutes with you. They are interested in the idea. There is something about your offer, something about that communication that is leading them to believe that this is not right for them, and they're saying no to that one small specific thing. So step one of turning a no into a yes is to get curious. Become a little bit like Sherlock Holmes and discover as to what is it that led your client to say no. And step two would be to actually tackling that objection, actually tackling that perspective, actually tackling that belief that may have occurred that is leading them to say a no to something that actually they are probably interested in. So let's look at what could be some of the reasons when a client says no. The first potential reason your client may say no is because they think that coaching is not going to work for them. This is a scenario where they have leaned into the idea of coaching. They kind of dabbled in it a little bit with you, but they feel like maybe this is not for me. If that seems to be the reason why your client is saying no, you want to ask them something like this. That's okay if this is a no for now. If I may inquire what might be something you would like to see or experience that would make it a yes for when you are ready. The reason why this question is so powerful and so interesting is because firstly, we're starting by saying it's okay if this is no for now. This gives them that relief that you're not going to try and push them into buying something. At the same point of time, it allows you to get some data, some information from a client's perspective, so you could use that in a future conversation with this specific client, but also in any future conversation, you can bake it into your conversation of enrollment. You can already bring up the ideas that you may discover from this client in your future enrollment conversation. You want to capture this information because you can reach out to the same client that might have said no 3 months, 4 months later, suggestive of how you've added that experience, you've added that particular thing that the client was missing, and to check in if they were now ready. The second thing that might happen, and it happens very commonly, is that they did not understand the offer. This would happen very often when you rush your offer or you don't present your offer in a more visual format where you're just saying certain things and they're catching some and they're not catching some. This happens really commonly in coaching also because a lot of the times we make the offer so complicated that the person has to take a minute to really even understand what you're offering. So if you feel that you rushed through your offer, that you didn't make a very effective presentation, that you didn't give time for your client to really simmer and really find out what that really was or ask questions around it, ask this question to open up the conversation again around your offer so your client can have further clarity and then make an educated decision. Would you be open for me to further clarify how this coaching offer supports your goal in coming year? When you ask this question, you're seeking permission to slow yourself down and explain your offer in a more succinct and connected way to the goal that your client has. A lot of the times we prepare our offers as a script. We know exactly what we are offering. We have a bulleted list. But what really gets a client to say yes is how they see that offer connecting to the vision of themselves. They want to see how their vision is going to get fulfilled when they work with you. The third reason they may say no is because they are not committed to do the work or they don't have the time to do the work just yet. Most of your clients are going to be extraordinary individuals, and when you're working with extraordinary individuals, well, sometimes they are strapped for time. They do not have the time. And this is where you want to open an inquiry of if there's a future possibility where they would have the time to commit to what they really want to achieve in their life or commit to that goal that you wanted to focus on with them. You may ask something like, would you be open to me reaching out to you in 3 months to check in if you are at a better place to do this work? The reason why, again, we seek this permission is when somebody gives you the permission to reach back out to them, now you have true permission to reach back out as many times until you get another response from them. Because usually a busy, extraordinary person really takes some time to come back to you or return your email or your phone calls. Another reason why a client may say no to you is because it is truly out of their budget. It truly is something they cannot afford. They really want the outcome, but for whatever reason, right now it doesn't fit the budget that they have. This is where you want to open up the conversation around different ways of financing that particular project. You could ask something like, would you be open to alternate ways of creating a winning relationship for both of us? This allows you to create payment plans. This allows you to partner up with other organizations that may provide funding for somebody to get those results and work with you on a coaching project. You could also allow for delayed payment or even find ways to share or trade equity when you're working with companies. Another reason a client may say no is because they're comparing you to something else in the marketplace. You see, because coaching is such a new profession, there are all different levels of coaches. A new coach is charging much less than somebody who's very experienced in the same field. It could be because the quality of results a coach provides. The pricing is so variant that sometimes you may struggle to position yourself at the price point that you want to and get a no just because your client is maybe more aware of the market and compares you to a different price point. This is where you can take the opportunity of explaining to your client why your pricing are different than others using a metaphor. You can use the metaphor of cars. You see, any car can take you from point A to point B. Your client may be driving a better car like a BMW, a Mercedes, or a Tesla, but they might have paid significantly more amount of money than what they would have paid for a Subaru or a Nissan. And the reason why you bring that to their attention is because Subaru and Nissan are perfectly good cars. They take you from point A to point B like any other car, but the reason why you buy a BMW, a Mercedes, a Tesla, or any other vehicle is because of the experience. Because of the experience of the person, the experience of the car, the experience of the result of how you reach the destination from point A to point B is significantly different. And that is why your pricing is different from any other coach. You're a different coach, you have a different level of experience, you have a different level of expertise, you're a different way of really getting your client from point A to point B. And so your pricing is different from anybody else. Now, would a client be okay getting a Nissan? Absolutely. But if the client is the right client for you, they probably want to get that Mercedes experience or the Tesla experience that you are willing to provide. And the final reason why a client may say no is because they're not the right fit. And truly, honestly, most of the time when you've served your client really well and they say no, it's because it's not the right fit. You're not the right coach for them or not the right client for you. And that is why it's so very important for you to know what's your market, who is it that you're serving, what's the persona of that person, what's the feeling of that person. If you haven't really invested some time and energy into defining that, the next video is going to help you find your niche, find your market, find your people that you should be positioning your offer to so you get less no's and more yeses.